in his second game coming off a hand injury.
The benefit of having a player like Daniel Gomis is he plays the same whether he scores or not. Some guys, you give them a bunny, they make the little easy layup, and then it motivates them to play defense harder. With Gomis, he's going to play hard no matter what's going on.
McClain lost it, and he's trying to call the timeout, and Gomis gets it.
They fell behind in the first 28 seconds, 3-0. They ended up losing the game by 3 points. The Oregonian wrote a lead editorial. I encourage everybody listening to Google that story right now. Wayne Tinkle, Oregon State Beavers, and basketball. It'll just change your life. The story that they wrote about what went down. When I read that story, I sent it around to my home. Shots, made his last 4. That was a nice job there, but this guy, Trayshawn Fletcher, kept him together with all the intangibles. He has the ball right now and smart enough to pull it right back out.
And Bill, look who's on the floor here in these closing minutes for Colorado. Fletcher's said, but Dustin Thomas also, who's done very nicely off the bench.
Dustin Thomas had a superb game and all the intangibles, as has Xavier Talton. The lack of depth for the Beavers has really hurt, but that will change next year.
Quick double jumper. As soon as he missed that shot, he knew it was off, and he was the first person to get back to it.
So Gary Payton the second, you see him out playing up top in this zone, but again he needs to fight those instincts a little bit. He got 2 fouls.
Has to continually remind himself within the possession.
How nice is that? You know, that teardrop, the floater, to me, one of the biggest shots that really has come into basketball in the last 15, 20 years. You have got it. Like when I played, you didn't even practice that. You never even, in fact, if you shot it, you got in trouble for shooting it. Now, I think it's a weapon every player needs to practice and needs to get good at. Payton, one of the best.
But a 5-second differential, shot clock to game point. Hopkins, loose ball, never got the Payton. 6 for 13 from the floor, 19 of the Beavs, 50 points. Collier gets it stripped, and a timeout called by the Beavers. As you see, 6'10" game.
I mean, he ran right into him, knew what he was doing. Schoftenar was in decent position, but no chance with the experience of DeLon Wright.
Big defensive sequence for the Beavers, trying to keep the deficit at 6.
And you can see one of the things they're doing, lots of ball screens against the zone.
Taylor trying to find Chapman.
Well, this Oregon State team is unselfish, and you can tell by looking at their stats. Payton II leads them at 13, but balanced the rest of the way for this Oregon State team, playing the right way, sharing the basketball.
Darian Clark, the redshirt sophomore, had a nice game against Oregon.
Had more of a scorer's mentality, and Gary Payton II doesn't have that, but he's so much more athletic, and he's just as good a defender as I was. That's what he said.
Well, that's saying something. Don't call him the glove for nothing. Jarmal Reed now on the floor, coming off a career-high 20 points against the Cougars the other night. On the floor for the Beavs. 10 to shoot for the Huskies, looking for their first bucket. Williams-Goss trying to find Kemp down low. Gomis fronting, stripped away, loose ball. Gomis falls off top.
Points. There's that shot by LMW, and he's just not close right now. Reed pokes it away, and Gomis has got it.
Glass, which they're not really able to do, and something other than try to shoot jump shots. You're right. They've got to do something to get some easy baskets. Turnover steal would be the best thing. Obviously, get out and run.
Here's Blakes. Holder.
Too small to get much done inside there.
Jacobson has it stripped, and Oregon State comes away.
Gary Payton was really good, and they had really good teams back then. I remember Ralph Miller coaching that team. Boy, that was a great experience for me. First got in the league.
It was due to a bad pass, and the Beavers coaching staff wanted to see if the team would have a little bit of that hangover effect from the victory, or if they'd be locked in and ready to go. Finals are done,
right?
So now it's all basketball.
Last time out, a very quick start for Oregon State. They got up 16-2 against Mississippi State. Ended up winning that game by 10. All-timer had it poked away. And the tallest man got it. Really feel for the Tigers. You just do. Yeah, but you still have to hit your shots, and they're doing that tonight.
Oregon State, they require double teams because of what Schaftenar and Gomis have established in the paint, and then it's just a matter of finding the open guy, and Victor Robbins really coming along.
Looking to force a 16th turnover.
It's not a bad result.
Not at all.
Especially when you take into context losing Giroux and some of the things that they've battled through. Simmons went through a spell of injury. Kemp wasn't himself early.
Yeah, and they want to gain momentum heading into that Pac-12 tournament.
Blackwell's got a dozen. Nelson's just going to try and shoot his team back into this. Andrews to Anderson.
It was very stagnant, and I think Craig Robinson inserting Hollis Cook into the lineup was probably the biggest change because Cook brings a different pace to the game. He's able to set the table for guys. He can also score. He defends. He's one of the team's best guys when it comes to steals.
Oregon State zone, very active, hands spread out, guys wide in the zone.
Wright missed the three, got his own miss. Gomis, the easy jam.
And we're seeing wonderful passing again from Oregon State. They share the basketball. Nelson with a nice delivery, and Collier finishes. So you're seeing both teams extending their defenses. In the latter two possessions, both teams attacked for scores.
Barack Obama's brother-in-law, the First Lady's brother, Craig Robinson, the head coach, of course, of Oregon State. Not the first time the Beavers have made the trip